Thank you for staying with us here on Face Off today on Channels Television. I'm Seun Wakinbaloye, standing in for your regular host, Nel Taigbe. And I have with me two gentlemen, Tunde Kolaole and Dave Ajetumobi. What we're looking at tonight is the 37 defecting lawmakers who decided to move away from the PDP onto the APC. The consequence of that is a court ruling which came up yesterday, I guess, saying that these lawmakers should vacate their seats. That's just one of the prayers. Part of it is the fact that they cannot change the leadership of the House of Representatives. And Mr. Tunde Kolaole on my left is saying that they should vacate their seats as honorable men. But Mr. Dave Ajetumobi here is saying, no, they should not vacate their seats. And that's the argument. I don't know what the argument is. I don't know what side to take it. Is it for them to vacate their seats or not? Tonight, that's what we'll be looking at. But again, you remember that those lawmakers did not take it lying low. They've gone to court to appeal that particular case. And well, we shall all be waiting to see what comes out of it. Let me start this argument tonight by coming to you, Mr. Dave Ajetumobi. You were saying that they should not vacate their seat, but when court says it, who can change it?
Well, basically, the court that gave that decision is the court of first instance. There are still other two levels of court. We have the Court of Appeal as well as the Supreme Court. If you know the way our law works when it comes to political matters, election matters, even if the election tribunal declare a sitting governor the loser, he will still remain there until the case is eventually disposed of by the Supreme Court. And I believe that is the situation here too. Since the other people, the affected, aggrieved parties have appealed. So the status quo remains. And nothing can be done about those people. Anything, if the House leadership attempt to execute that judgment, they will run foul of the law, because as long as the other people have now taken the case to a higher court, the status quo should be maintained. So as far as the law is concerned, they are still members of the House as well as members of APC. So that's the status quo.
Interesting. You heard Mr. Ajetumobi.
Well, I heard him, but there's a dishonorable aspect to it. Too many times you find out that our politicians tend to hide under the law. They know that the judicial process in this part of the world is very, very slow. In fact, some arithmetic that was done by the people in Alausa in the Ministry of Justice some time ago shows that it takes an average of almost about 18 years before a case will travel right from the customary court to the Supreme Court before it is disposed of. That is what most times the politicians will always hide. What I am saying is that there are certain issues that are better solved politically, and others should be resolved through the law court. Most of these political cases that we take to the court, that we body the court with, ordinarily shouldn't be going to court. If these people who made the law, like I said earlier on, are going to be honorable people, they ought to obey the law first and foremost. Vacate your seat. After you have vacated your seat, then the appeal will continue to run. And then when the appeal is disposed of, you can still draw your salaries at the end of the day. That is what I think they should do as gentlemen. But most times you find that our politicians don't behave that way. And I say this not just from the point of law, but also from the point of morality. When you look at all laws, ordinarily speaking, truthfully speaking and all that, they have their origins in morals, in ethics, and in the traditions of the people. So if there are no morals, if there are no ethics, if there are no principles to law and order, law becomes just a hollow sham. So these politicians, the 37 lawmakers and order, if they are the givers of law, should not under the hollow sham of the law to protect themselves. They should by now be packing their bags and baggages and heading home.
All right, interesting. Let me again put this to you. Yeah. The fact remains that the issue, I want our viewers to understand what the prayers of that particular case was. Initially, it was stop them from changing the principal officers. But when the judgment came, when the ruling came, it says not only that you cannot change the principal officers, the leadership, but you should vacate their seat. Well, the argument is that that particular portion is not even part of the prayers initially.
You see, like we also say in law, you cannot put nothing on nothing. If the foundation upon which those lawmakers are rested, upon which they are standing, is no longer how would I put it? It's no longer firm. is not a plank upon which they can stand and then you cannot build something on nothing. If by law, if they are vacated, if they had the party or the vehicle that brought them to power and all that, if they had disembarked, or if they have said, look, we no longer belong to this, but the thing is that they have no standing. They have no pedestal upon which they are
Do
standing.
you think that the judge should actually have added that portion to the ruling, which is not part of the
There
prayers?
are certain times court goes here to make some certain consequential orders. If you ask for these prayers and others, certain things ordinarily will follow those prayers that you have made. I strongly suspect that the order that has been made by the court, saying that you people, you not only cannot change the principal officers of the house, but you must also vacate. I suspect very strongly that it's a consequential order.
Do you agree with that?
Well,
When that prayer was not even part of the case initially,
I've
we
been-
saw it come in the ruling.
I've been in this on this job for about a quarter of a century now. I know a consequential order must necessarily flow from the principal relief being sought. Every layman will even know it, that if you are saying they should be restrained from removing principal officer and is granted, vacate your seat couldn't have been ancillary to removal of principal officer. So it couldn't have been. His lordship has derailed after giving the order saying that they cannot remove the principal officer. Then now, I read a summary of the judgment that is immoral. Is this, like my learned friend said, that morality is part of the law. Well, it is part of the, but law is not morality, unfortunately. Law is not morality. If these people decided to go to court to prevent the APC people from removing or changing the principal officer, everything that we apply to that process must be law, not morality. If they had wanted to go the way of morality, they would have consulted the elders, the bishop and the imam, come and intervene in this matter. Once you go to court, there are constitutional provisions and other legal provisions governing court processes. Let it be followed. We should not at this point be pontificating that morality does not apply here. It's a matter of law. It's either law or no law. That is the issue. So the issue of morality does not even come in here, and it's not the duty of the judge to now stray to pontificate on morality or to grant an order that cannot, by any figment of imagination.
So in your point of view, what the ruling, that part of the ruling was wrong.
It was wrong. It was.
You shouldn't have carried that part.
It wouldn't have. If you are, but the issue is that do the courts have power to stop activities of the house, or as long as it's not contravening a particular law, the court has immunity from, the house, the legislative chamber, they have immunity. Unless you are saying, well, removing the principal officer is against section so and so of so and so law. Well, the question is purely political.
But you agree with that?
Well, I have said it even Mr. Jetumabi seems to be corroborating all the points that I have made. That some of these issues are better resolved politically. That when we rush to court and put political cases before the court.
So who is at fault for going to court in this case?
Well,
do you think it's wrong in the first place to have gone to court to take this case?
Honestly speaking, I strongly feel that it is wrong to have taken this matter to court. Why do I say this? First and foremost, on the part of the PDP, I don't believe, and I strongly disagree, and I've always insisted that we should not be burdening our court with political cases. For the lawmakers, I would say, if you came on the PDP vehicle to the National Assembly, and you feel that that vehicle can no longer accommodate you and you want to jump ship and all that, the honorable thing to do first and foremost is say, look, I will relinquish my post. I will now go back to my constituency and call on the National Electoral Commission to conduct a by-election based on the new political party that belong. If they are as popular as these lawmakers are pretending to be, then they should subject themselves to a by-election.
Learned friend has three also, like his lordship. The issue is, these people decamped earlier this year, and the constitution made provision for recall. If the people in their constituency has not called them thus far, or the process, they've not made the request to National Electoral Commission.
The fact is that those who have jumped ship did not even subject the processing to their constituency. How many of them went back to their constituency to say, look, the vehicle upon which I came to the National Assembly can no longer accommodate me and accommodate my constituency? Let's go and join the PDP. Let's go and join the APC for that. How many of them went back to their constituency? Not
The
many of them. It was a
constituency
unilateral decision
has the
based
power
on the,
to recall them. That is why I still insist.
But you
that
also
if,
know how cumbersome the
say,
recall procedures are. A recall procedure is a very
well,
cumbersome
let them
process.
try
A
it
process
first.
that we cannot.
You should not jump the gun by using the process of court to frustrate.
Since we started this
the
democracy
political
about
process.
13 or 14 years ago, how many recall has taken place in the last 14 years?
Well, that is the way
it because
the law
certain
is.
lawmakers are not due or shouldn't be recalled? They cannot be recalled because the process is very, very cumbersome. And a lot of these cheaters in the National Assembly tend to get away with all these atrocities.
So